Good day everyone and thanks for tuning in. I mentioned in a previous video I was just about done with milk runs. Well, I lied. Today's milk run is with a carrier a little unexpected. So let's head to Cairns International Airport where we'll begin our journey at the domestic terminal for my homeward bound flight back to Adelaide.
G'day guys and welcome back to another one of my videos, and it is officially the end of my wonderful trip in Queensland and I'm heading back to Adelaide today. And I leave Queensland full of memories and a suitcase full of dirty laundry. So I'll be heading back to Adelaide today on familiar territory. I'm heading back to QANTAS. I got to say hi to them because I feel I've neglected them for quite a fair bit these few months with all my flights on Virgin. So today, back to familiar territory. I say hi to QANTAS on my flight to Adelaide, but heading back on a non-stop flight would be too simple now, would it? So keeping with the theme of this holiday, I'm heading back to Adelaide on a little, well, milk run of sorts, because when I looked into redemption flights to take me back to Adelaide, there was a multi-stop flight. Believe it or not, there was a multi-stop flight available for 18,000 points. And this is what I did. So my flight today will be from Cairns to Brisbane to Sydney and then Adelaide. I have full lounge access at all these airports except Adelaide, of course, because I'm getting off there. But otherwise, full lounge access everywhere. But I'll be flying in economy class. This entire flight will take me about 8.5 hours to get back to Adelaide. Nothing is ever simple with me. So come, let's get going.
If you're new to my channel, my name's Brian, and I love to create heaps of travel and food related content. I have a whole bunch of videos related to this trip and you'll find them in the description below. I also have many more trips lined up, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you do not miss out on what's coming up. Giving me a like will also encourage me to keep prodding along and create more of these videos. So here's the thanks, because your support is very much appreciated. The one and only airline lounge in Cairns is operated by QANTAS, seen here in the upper levels. If you're flying with Virgin, just too bad, you're hanging out at Hungry Jack's. Cairns sees a decent amount of QANTAS traffic, so the lounge is of a decent size. It's also been recently refurbished to bring it in line with other QANTAS clubs. When I was there, it was a lull between departure banks, so there were heaps of seats available. The lounge is also bathed in bright natural lighting, and it's probably the only location at this terminal to see any sunlight. After brekkie and a light lunch, with much reluctance, it was time to bid this lounge farewell and head towards my first flight for today. Boarding a jet aircraft in Terminal 2 is unique. You go through the doors at ground level, then zigzag up a covered ramp towards an air-conditioned air bridge. All this while, you won't have a glimpse of your aircraft because of the way this structure is constructed. So, to AV geeks out there, this is the airport's way of saying suckers and giving you the middle finger. In the last week till now, I've spent a total of 19 hours cramped into a Saab 340 over the course of a few days. Walking into this 737, I suddenly feel like Rose stepping on board the HMS Titanic for the first time. It felt so huge, and I actually don't have to walk sideways along the aisle. I then spot a familiar face. I recognized the flight attendant from a previous Darwin to Brisbane flight. She swore it wasn't her, but a friend who was older and uglier, but they shared the same name and dark curls. She's funny. Nothing like some light banter to set the tone going forward. And this was how I received a pre-departure drink in economy class. It really pays to be friendly towards the crew.
The home of QANTAS. Give us your attention for the next few minutes to make your journey a safe one as we take a journey through 100 years of innovation and Australian spirit. This here's a number of 504 bikeway, made from timber and canvas, not by on a QANTAS Boeing 737. Sounds a bit flashier than this old girl.
In the 1930s, QANTAS are world leaders in aviation innovation with fully enclosed cabins and even seatbelts.
We took off from runway 15, and noise abatement procedures had us turning left upon airborne to avoid the CBD. Our flight path will skirt along the Queensland coast on this beautiful day, clocking a total distance of 1,388 kilometers and a flight time of 2 hours 10 minutes. We will approach Brisbane Airport from the north, so a stunning view out of my window is guaranteed. This 737 has 30 inches of seat pitch with charging ports, so I didn't have to worry about my camera running out of juice. This flight was also very lightly loaded, so yay, 2 empty seats next to me. QF713 departs Cairns at 12:15 p.m. and since it's a lunchtime flight, I was hoping to get served something more substantial. But we only received a bag of chicken and avocado sandwich. That being said, the sandwich was actually pretty good, and I had it with tea. The hosties did come back to offer us seconds and thirds if we were still hungry. Well, I scoffed down 3 serves of these delicious delights. We're now gliding over Moreton Bay, getting ready to land into Brisbane Airport's runway 19 right. I'm looking forward to the QANTAS lounge here as it is one of my favorite in the network.
Welcome to Brisbane. QANTAS would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land. The local time is 2:21 p.m. As the seatbelt sign is still on, please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened. Please refrain from using electronic devices until you're inside the terminal. For safety reasons, if you're using stairs to disembark this afternoon, make sure you hold the handrail and use the designated.
Okay, that was flight number 1 down. I came out from gate 19. Sydney's boarding from gate 19 as well. We are boarding soon, so it doesn't seem like I've got time for the lounge.
Okay, hang on. What the hell is this guy talking about? I'm sorry, but voiceover Ryan is taking over and I say we go to the lounge. This QANTAS Club is one of the better looking ones because it takes a lot of design cues from the business lounge next door, which is a tier up from this one. So it doesn't feel like you're missing out. In fact, even when I'm in business class, I much prefer this because of how open and airy this feels. Between the last voiceover and now, 7 days have passed, and I got struck by the dreaded COVID. I can assure you, it's still me. Yes, please bear with me while I sound like a pom in all my nasally disposition. We're heading back onto the same aircraft that brought us to Brisbane. A different set of crew met us at the door with a friendly welcome. So let's get this flight started. With the sun now on the other side of the aircraft, I was at the perfect location to film this beautiful takeoff from runway 19 left. Flying distance from Brisbane to Sydney is roughly 751 kilometers and a duration of 1 hour 35 minutes. We'll approach Sydney from the north, which is why I chose to change my seat to this side. You'll see why when we're landing. As this was a short flight between mealtimes, it was the usual drink service with cheese and crackers. Come on, let's get to that Sydney approach already. This landing into Sydney is one of my favorite approaches in the world. There is so much to take from up here. From the harbour bridge, the opera house, the skyline, and just the general feeling of awe and how I appreciate every opportunity I have to view this from way up here. Absolutely beautiful.
Okay, that was flight number 2. Done and dusted. Now we head to the QANTAS lounge and we go to flight number 3 after this. Interesting fact, I have been to the Sydney Business Lounge several times, but this is my first time in the QANTAS Club in Sydney. So yeah, I'm looking forward to taking a look at how QANTAS Club looks like here in Sydney. So let's go!
The QANTAS Club was closed, so I got ushered into the business lounge, where these hanging white paper balls are an indication this lounge needs a serious Woods Bagot reboot. That design firm has done a fantastic job with Brisbane and Perth, so I wonder why Sydney Airport was not put at the forefront to showcase their masterpiece. Dinner was a cacciatore, which I wasn't sure Nonna would approve. But it did the job and I was soon rushing off to board the next flight. We had the same set of crew from the previous flight greeting us, and the ride assigned this evening was Victor X-Ray Hotel, a 20-year-old Boeing 737-800 named Homebound. It really looked like the airport was winding down after we pushed back. As we settle in on this third and final flight for today, let's look at QF745's departure profile, which took us south of the airport before turning right heading northwesterly. Once we intersected an airway, we flew due west towards Adelaide, where we would make a scenic nighttime arrival into Adelaide Airport's runway 23, completing this 1,161km journey in 2 hours 10 minutes. QF745 is a dinner time flight. Has Qantas stopped serving hot meals in economy class? Suppose I didn't get the memo. Nonetheless, this honey mustard chicken panini was actually not that bad. We're coming to the end of a very long day, so let me sum up this journey. To be honest, it felt great to be back at Qantas. I've been out partying with the trendy Virgin for almost a year, and while it was fun, I never forgot the route of all my Aussie travels started here with the Flying Kangaroo. Virgin feels like a fashionable new friend who reached out to me on Instagram, and we now have a fantastic time exploring new experiences like molecular gastronomy in Soho, and coming back to Qantas feels like a comforting hug of a chicken pot pie. Familiar, a little faded, but a welcoming smile ushering me back into a well-worn leather armchair by the fireplace, all curled up with a mug of hot chocolate in my hand. So I'm not ready to jump ship to Virgin just yet because Qantas and I still have a long road ahead. So let's say hello to Adelaide International Airport because it is time for me to go home.
Welcome back to Adelaide, everyone. This concludes my beautiful holiday in Queensland. That was the last milk run, and I will probably be grounded for a while I try to edit all these videos together. Well, anyway, the comforting feeling of being back in Qantas after all this time cannot be underscored. It's great to be back. It's good to see Qantas in this form. They were excellent today. Excellent service. Everyone was friendly. All the flight attendants were cheerful. The flight gradually got more and more full as it went along. First flight was okay. Second flight getting a bit full. This last flight from Sydney back to Adelaide was full. I was lucky to have the only empty seat next to me. So that was very, very lucky of me. Well, anyway, if you have watched the video up to this point, I'd like to thank all of you for your support. And of course, for those of you who haven't, there are a lot of related videos that's tied to this trip, so I recommend you check it out as well. I will chuck details of my Instagram on your screen right now, so you can give me a follow there, so you can actually follow my travels in real time. And also it will give you an idea of the kind of videos that will be coming up on my YouTube channel. And of course, more importantly, don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell notification icon so you'll know every time when I embark on another crazy trip like this. Yeah, don't forget to share this with a friend as well. Leave a comment and let me know where would you like me to go after this, because I take your suggestions very seriously. Okay, and that's it. I bid you farewell from here and take care all of you. Stay safe, and until my next video, I'll see you around. Take care. Bye.